Hello, Week 2 Warrior. This is lesson number 3, insulin resistance and nitrogen tolerance for module number 6, our body's natural cycles. So, people who are doing marathoning, doing triathlons, doing these endurance sports that are largely considered carbohydrate-based, Ben Greenfield talks about this a lot, which is cool that he admits this because he was big into a lot of this stuff for a while. But basically, what people generally do is just eat tons and tons and tons of carbs and develop insulin resistance. Even though they're working out all the time, they're like, oh, I work out all the time, I can just eat all of these carbs, I'm not going to become insulin resistant, blah, blah, blah. But they inevitably become insulin resistant. And that causes a whole bunch of issues. On the other hand, there's another phenomenon that has more to do with protein tolerance rather than carbohydrate tolerance or overconsumption issues. And nitrogen balance is that problem, basically. So positive nitrogen balance is basically when we can maintain positive nitrogen balance in our bloodstream, basically. I need to brush up on that again. This is a concept often used by popularized the steak and eggs diet. The name will come to me later. But basically, Vince Gironda. So Vince Gironda talked a lot about nitrogen balance, and nitrogen balance was necessary for muscle growth, for recovery, for feeling good, for staying in an anabolic state. But the thing was, as you kept on consuming protein, your body was basically build tolerance to protein and need more and more protein to maintain positive nitrogen balance. And eventually that would start to cause metabolic issues. So protein cycling is a phenomenon that people have used in bodybuilding. I've used that to great effect. But it's really, I think, part of this greater cycle of carbs to protein and fat where we benefit from carbohydrate-based diets at points in time, and then we benefit from protein fat-based diets at points in time. And this cycles as we consume more and more protein, we build tolerance to the protein, nitrogen balance starts to go negative, and then we start consuming more and more carbohydrates. Our body, very insulin sensitive from consuming less carbohydrates, responds wonderfully to the carbohydrates. Metabolism increases, protein synthesis increases with the increased carbohydrates, testosterone goes up through LNRH and gonadotropin releasing hormone and those other related systems. And our body starts to heal, becomes very anabolic, and ultimately is in a great high-performing state until insulin resistance starts to come in. And then we go and then move on to a more carnivorous diet, a more meat-based, protein-based diet, maybe an exclusively meat-based diet. And then our body takes in all the protein and uses fatty acid metabolism, drives down inflammation, drives down insulin. Our kidneys get used to lower and lower levels of insulin until suddenly we're having electrolyte problems, then reintroduction of carbohydrates. And I feel like this matches with the seasons and how we would have had a varied source of food year-round and varied sources of food available intermittently as well. So that is a cycle within the broader cycle to be aware of, because knowing about this cycle and optimizing for it will help you optimize your metabolism, optimize healing, and stay in a positive, really just like an overall very good high-performing state. Done.